Hey everybody, this is Rez the Collector with another action figure review. And actually this is going to be a multiple action figure review. We're actually going to be doing the entire wave today, and of course ending with the Collect and Connect New 52 Doomsday fully assembled. So this is going to be a lot of stuff here. What I'm going to do is on each figure I'm going to hit the what I consider to be the three major points, and that is sculpting, paint application, and articulation. I suppose in some of these you could add a fourth for accessories, but not all of them have an accessory. So three majors. I'm going to go ahead and pull at random, and we'll take a look. Be right back. Alright, so we're kicking things off with the mutant leader. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look at the figure in the box. I'll pause to remove the figure and we'll move on. So as you can see, this is Mattel's standard new box for their Multiverse line. Gives us a large picture window. Excuse me, I'm just focusing there. Good look at the figure. So of course we can see the figure there. Very nice view, pretty much everything except for the feet, and you can look at that if you were to tilt the box. You can of course see the accessories, the torch, and the crowbar, and the Collect and Connect Doomsday piece. Of course, the box is just that really nice red. Does have that very nice cartoon depiction of the mutant leader there from the Dark Knight comic. Again, there on the back, of course, it shows you all six figures we'll be seeing today. This figure is actually number 5. It was actually the last figure I acquired. Seems there was a shipment delay on these guys. And I bounced around. I had pre-orders set, and I bounced around until I found one that actually had it, and I got it for a cheaper price, so it was good stuff. So as you can see, it's going to show us the new 52 Doomsday and the 6 figures in line. And in the bottom here, we just have our usual UPC and manufacturer information. So we're going to pause one more time while I remove this bad boy from the box, and we'll go from there. Alright, here we have him out of package. And I will say that out of the 6 figures, this figure is the one that I was particularly loath to purchase. I did search on eBay looking to see if I could find the Collect and Connect figure piece that comes with him for a decent price in order to avoid purchasing this figure. However, by the time the bids got up there, it was just as cheap to just go ahead and buy the figure off Amazon and get the part I need. So, taking a look at the figure, let's go at the 3 points. The first one is going to be Sculpt. I can't give a whole lot of points here for Sculpt. It is very basic. It's basically their standard Mattel He-Man body buck. A little bit of sculpture to look, give us the pants on the legs. I'm sure that these monstrous feet here probably go to like a Beast Man or something. What kills me the worst though is getting past Sculpt. Well, I mean, let me take one more couple stabs at Sculpt here. The torch isn't bad. The crowbar, I mean, it's a crowbar. What can you really do? The only other part of the sculpt on this that would be really unique to this is going to be the head. And I will say that the head really isn't bad. They did a good job sculpting the teeth, trying to get that sneer down. So I will say that the head sculpture is not bad. So then we're going to go ahead and move on to paint application, which is fucking terrible. Jesus, I mean, look at this thing. You've got this standard shiny plastic here in the torso. You've got a shaded and matte painted head. You've got some nice shading on the arms here. I mean, look at that. They started to really nicely shade this. There was a little work here, but then you can see it goes down to that bare plastic there. We've got nice matte finish on the arms. And again, the same on this side, a nice matte, not as nicely shaded as this here is, as this here. But you know, there's still some color variations here. So I don't know if maybe they got some guy who's really good in one little spot in the factory in China, and he got fired, or they saw he was actually doing a good job and, you know, taking time, and they made him speed up. But the differences between the back and the arms versus each other, really just with a different shading. But what really stands out is the horribleness of this terrible shiny back when you've got that matte painted head and you've got these attempting at some color variations in the arms. It just made it so much worse. It made it stand out so much worse to have that big discolored looking chest on here. It does not work with the figure. Yeah, I really wish I had been able to just find the piece for Doomsday and not have to purchase this guy. So the last point is articulation. Taking a look here, starting from the bottom, he does have some foot articulation, not so much side to side, but back and forth. The bend at the knee is really bad. I mean, this is terrible. It looks like there's so much more room than it could go, but it just stops. And both of them do this. And in this day and age, to not have double jointed knees and elbows is just insanity to me. So that's as much as a bend as you're getting out of the knee. We've got no cut for the thigh. However, we do got decent rotation and back and forth here at the hip joint. So decent there. Looks like we might get some, yeah, a little bit of turn here. Well, that turns at least. So decent again at the hip, terrible at the knee, okay at the ankle, at least back and forth. We got a good bit of chest movement there. There goes that crowbar. Of course, full rotation there. Head, good sculpt, but does not really look up. That's just, you can look forward, but you can't really go up. And even down, he doesn't get. I mean, that's it for his movement. That's not a whole lot of movement there. Of course, we've got side to side. The arm being ball joints. You've got full range of motion there. Swivel at the bicep. Bend at the elbow. Of course, single jointed, not double jointed. And swivel at the wrist. I guess the point number 4 here would be accessories. We do have, of course, the torch and the crowbar. So that is going to be it for Mr. Mutant Leader. We're going to be coming back with the next figure in just a moment. Just to show it, this was the left arm of Doomsday. Alright, we're back, and you're going to notice that we skipped the box art on this one. This figure is from the Batman v Superman movie that came out earlier in this year. It shows Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor as he appears at the end of the movie when he is screaming that the cosmic bell has been rung and the god has fallen. So taking a look at this figure on our 3-point scale, sculpt-wise, really not bad. The head sculpt does resemble Jesse Eisenberg. It has that fucking weird, like, half stroked out face look to it. And that's Eisenberg perfectly. The prison suit body, really, I mean, it's got to be difficult to kind of sculpt that sort of body without resulting to giving somebody muscle structure who shouldn't have it. You run into the what was it, the Star Wars Power of the Force, where that whole line, I think, and I might be wrong about the line's name, but the whole series was kind of ridiculed because all of the figures came out looking like they were played by Arnold Schwarzenegger because they were huge. They all had these like huge muscled forms, and everybody was like, "What the hell? Nobody looks like that." So I do have to give the sculptors credit in that they did properly convey kind of the shapeless jumpsuit look. I mean, they did it pretty well here without making the figure look like it's muscled or looking like it's overweight. And I think that's kind of a delicate balance they had to work with there. So the sculpt I'm going to give good marks to. The paint app, yeah, I'm also going to give good marks. Let me bring it in for focusing here. I mean, you've got his prison number there. I don't see any bleed through. The skin tone is nice and even throughout. Yeah, the nice little bell reef penitentiary here on the back's a nice little touch. So yeah, paint app is good, sculpt is good, and let's take a look at articulation. So we got okay down and okay up. Not great, but okay on both. Not a lot of center movement. I think that's where we're going to find that restriction in not making this like a little bit more muscular or thinner. That restriction there is we're hitting here and it's kind of restricting that ab movement. So not a lot of movement there. Decent ball joint on the shoulder. Nice swivel there at the bicep. We've got bend at the elbow, single joint. And we've got swiveling hands. That's different. No hinge on the hands. So all it's going to be able to do is go around and around. It's not going to be able to come down in any way. Actually, I believe the mutant leader was like that as well. We do have Y joint hips here. Now, of course, it is hindering here by the fact that Mr. Luther is in shackles. But if we remove that shackle, he does have some good movement here. I could see this being customized into some kind of Kung Fu master figure. Yeah, I might have to do that myself. Get a spare one of these or some kind of Professor X. This would make a great Professor X figure as well. Of course, with some customization and some sculpting. So the 3 points, again, articulation, we've got that Y joint there, we've got rotation here at the thigh, we've got a bend at the knee, decent bend, again single jointed, but still much better than the mutant leader, and we've got okay movement here out of the ankle, no side to side. So overall, I'm much happier with this figure than I am the mutant leader. The mutant leader is a total shit figure. And I wonder if if there was been such a production delay on getting those endings because they know it's shit and they're trying to fix it, and the ones that are out there are just out there. But I don't know. Regardless, it's ass. But Luther, really not bad. I kind of dig on the figure, and while I will probably be putting the mutant leader up for sale, old Lexi here, he's going to make the cut. He's going to be a keeper. So there is the second figure in the line, and he came with Doomsday's torso. So we've got an arm and the torso, and while I can't let you see it, I can let you hear the click. Well, it didn't click, but it's in. So haha, I get to see it, you don't. At least not yet. Alright guys, time for the next figure. Alright, next we have the Carrie Kelly Robin figure from the Dark Knight Returns, just like the mutant leader. I am not impressed with this figure at all. Basically, sculpt is paint app is and sorry. Yeah, paint, the sculpt is the articulation, I guess not bad. She's a pain in the ass to get to stand. She does have standard like a Y there. We do have cut at the hip here. We've got a bend at the knee. We do have back and forth at the ankle. She has no ab rotation or break it all. I guess she does have waist rotation here, but she doesn't have any kind of ab crunch. She's got single jointed elbows, and when her arms are extended, her arms look very, very strange. You can see some of the bad paint application there. You can see some green coming through. So you definitely want to have her arms bent, but they still don't quite look right. Head movement is pretty much zero back and forth, or up and down. You do have back and forth here. So really just a crap figure. Yeah, and she comes with the one accessory. But yeah, crap figure. Yet another figure, I would say, if you can get the part on eBay and you don't feel the need to own this Robin, avoid it. All right, we're back. One thing I forgot to mention is the Build-A-Figure, Collect and Connect figure that came with Carrie Kelly was the right leg of New 52 Doomsday. All right, on to our next figure. Now, where Carrie Kelly and the Mutant Leader bear the stench of failure, Batman here is a complete success in my book. Starting with Sculpt, oh my god, they did it. They really, really gave us a correct interpretation of Frank Miller's Armored Batman. That fight scene is a great fight scene. Now, I don't care personally for Miller's depiction of my personal hero, the Man of Steel, but that fight scene is great, and the armor that Batman donned to take on Superman just is awesome in action figure form. Now, of course, we've gotten some other versions of the Superman Buster armor, or whatever you want to call it. Of course, in the latest movie, Batman vs. Superman, in which the Lex Luthor you can see behind the Batman here is from, there was a version that Ben Affleck wore, and of course I do have that figure as well. And I will be doing some comparison videos between the Batfleck and the comic book version. But for right now, let's take a look at this figure. He does come with one accessory, and that's going to be his gun. Paint app on the gun is very basic. It's just a basic gunmetal gray. It's a matte paint. It doesn't fit all that greatly into Batman's hand, but whatever. The chest piece is rubber, which is awesome. You got these nice shiny shoulder pads. The sculpt is just flat out phenomenal. I mean, there's no other way to say it. They really, really, in the basicness that they did and everything else, they came through for Batman fans with this figure. This figure is going to be a must-have for any Batman collector. I do have a small Batman collection here, and he will definitely be making the cut, as will Miss Kelly back there, because I don't have a Carrie Kelly Robin, and she will go good in my Robin collection. However, Mutant Leader is most likely going to be going up for sale, because I have absolutely no use for that figure unless I come up with a custom idea. Alright, so Batman completely and utterly scores on the sculpting scale as well as paint apps. As you can see, the paint apps on him are very, very good. I love the paint app here on the face. So nice, so nicely done. Great figure. Okay, there's some bad painting right there on the foot there. That's terrible. But I don't care. I mean, as awesome as this figure is, a little bit of wear looking on the foot, that's fine. I mean, it's battle armor. So definitely this figure scores on all cylinders for me. Now, out of all of the figures in this line, he's the one I have found the most. If you're having trouble finding this guy, my suggestion is hit your local Walgreens. Like every Walgreens I have hit has had at least one of these guys. So if you're having trouble finding this guy, go hit your Walgreens. He's definitely an awesome figure to have. And the Doomsday pieces with him are the crotch and the head. So we're getting close, folks. We're getting down to the last two figures in the line. Of course, while the first four were kind of random, I've been saving the last two because they are the truly awesome Superman related ones. So we'll be coming back in just a moment. All right, the fifth figure we're going to look at is the Supergirl figure, Melissa Benoist, or whatever her name is, from the originally CBS and now CW Supergirl TV show. This is one of the figures I was more excited about in this line. This and of course the last figure that we're going to take a look at are the most, of course, heavily Superman referenced. So taking a look at this figure, going sculpt. I'm really happy with the sculpt. This is as close as we've gotten to a Matrix Supergirl, really in action figure form. And I had enough Amazon points to pick up the mutant leader, and I picked up a spare Supergirl. I'm going to do a repaint on her, lighten the blue in the suit, and then just use a standard yellow for in between, and blonde out the hair, and actually have myself a Matrix Supergirl from that point on. Hopefully that will turn out pretty well. I'm going to have to do some alterations to the boots as well. Taking a look at paint apps. Paint apps on here are great. I'm not really seeing anything. There's a little bit of, looks like, pressure here, and that's more on the plastic than the paint app itself. It looks like it's just, you know, plastic will white out if it gets too much pressure. It looks like that there. Other than that, I mean, the paint applications are awesome. The red pipelining is amazing. All that highlighting on the S with the gold is just, it just pops right off the figure. Definitely any Superman fan, and definitely any fan of the Supergirl TV show, this is a must-have figure. Taking a look at articulation, pretty limited, like most figures, most female figures. Having longer hair tends to limit the head movement. Now this one, they've actually gone with a soft enough plastic to give her good side to side, but like the rest of the figures in this line, she really doesn't have anything more than the slightest of an up and down for a nod. She does have an ab crunch, which is decent. You can see the pressure points there where it's hitting. She's got rotation at the waist for the arm. She's got standard ball joint. She does have rotation at the elbow and the elbow bend, and then again rotation at the wrist. We've got, again, that swivel at the waist. We do have wide jointed legs with a thigh cut, single jointed knees, and single jointed ankles. And she came with the other leg for Doomsday. This is going to bring us down to the last figure. We're going to see him in just a minute, and then it will be time for Doomsday's big reveal. All right, everybody, we've come down to the last figure in the line, and that, of course, is the Doomed Superman. And this is probably the figure, well, this is the figure I was looking forward to most out of this line, aside from the, of course, Doomsday figure, because when I first saw this figure, I haven't really read much of the New 52. I've read, like, the first 6 issues of Superman, Supergirl, and like Superboy, but I really haven't read beyond that. And I know that somehow Superman ends up, or something ends up with the Doomsday DNA. And while I don't know much about the storyline, the figure that it gives us is freaking sweet, man. This guy is just badass. Again, it's a Masters of the Universe reworked body buck. Who cares? What they did with it was just amazing. Love the popping blue colors. Now we do have a little bit of different colored plastics between the ankle joint and the actual outside of the boot. But again, as badass as this guy came out, I really can't say anything. The sculpting on the boots, the sculpting on the doomsdaying out Superman suit is just awesome. Now I got a little, if you can see these lines here, I've got some little bit of paint discoloration. But again, on a figure that this is just this amazing, I really still don't care. Because anything like that can just be attributed to the suit stretching because of the changes or what have you. But this is just an amazing, amazing figure. The articulation, let's take a look. The head, again, you're not getting a whole lot of up. He's at least got some down. Left and right is, of course, no problem. As you can see here, he's got himself a mighty big ab crunch. Standard waist rotation. We got decent movement here with the arms. That's one of the problems with running with a Doomsday type creature, is it can kind of limit the arms because of the bony protrusions, but not an issue in this figure. Of course, we've got a standard ball joint there. We've got rotation there at the bicep. We've got a single bend at the elbow and rotation at the wrist. We've got standard Masters of the Universe legs here, so we've got a nice wide joint, and we've got pretty much freedom movement there. Single jointed knee, of course, which is going to limit articulation there. It's about as much as you're going to get, and then back and forth on the ankle like we've seen with the other figures. So out of this figure line, we've got 6 figures. I'm going to call it a... I'm going to call it a tie, really. Really, I would say that the better figures really do win out. The losing figures of this line is going to be the Mutant Leader and the Carrie Kelly Robin. You can see both of those figures in the background here. Lex Luthor is middling to fair, is what I'm going to give him, because like I talked about when we were looking at him, he's decent, he's not great, so he's just middling. But the 3 standouts for this line is going to be Superman, Supergirl, and you can call me biased because I'm a Superman collector, but honestly, if you had these figures in hand, you would know exactly what I'm talking about, and you would agree with me. So, we're going to call Superman, Supergirl, and Batman winners. We're going to call Lex a middling, and the Mutant Leader and Carrie Kelly are definitely the stinkers of the line. Now, for what everybody's been waiting for. Haha, I just can't even see you. Screw you, leader. Doomsday. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pause this one more time because I need to grab some stuff out of the display case. Because he's a little smaller, actually, than I thought he was going to be. And Super Doomed comes with the last arm for Doomsday. So we're going to pause real quick and we'll be back. All right. As you can see, I have pulled the other 2 Doomsdays from Mattel out of my display case, and that would be the oversized Doomsdays from Mattel. Mattel has, of course, put out standard like 6 and 7 inch versions of the Doomsday character in their DC Universe line. But these are the oversized or correct scale versions of Doomsday. As you can see on the right hand side, that is Containment Suit Doomsday. He was a Comic-Con release, and then on the left it is the Battle for Metropolis Doomsday. Both of them amazing releases from Mattel. Both of them long overdue figures, and really must-haves for any Superman collector. If you don't have these 2 figures in your collection, these are going to be grails for you. I would start searching for them now, and if you find a good price, jump on it, because these figures are, like I said, a must-have. So, taking a look at the New 52 Doomsday, you can obviously see the comparisons between him and the standard pre-52 Doomsday, the original version of the character. Of course, this figure is, the Collect and Connect is a little bit smaller. He's more on the 10-inch scale instead of the 12-inch scale. As you can see, the designs of the character are very, very similar, while the newer version of Doomsday has more of a spiked horn protrusions, especially with those two ram horns coming off the side of his head there. Definitely a different look for the character. The bottom jaw is protruding, as you can see, a bit more. It looks more human standard on the original than it does here. Much more monstrous here. Also, the bone protrusion in the chest is much more almost like hair-like than the other version. Sculpting on this guy is very, very nice. I was kind of worried when I initially saw the head and the neck. It just seemed like it didn't go right together. But once it's on the figure, you can see that it does fit the figure well. And it does give you a lot of motion with him. You can get him in a nice, almost like a howling look here, which is very cool for this figure. So we've got a great rotation there at the head. We don't really have much in the way of down. The farthest down you're going to get is right here, that's straight forward. But that up is very nice and actually makes him look much more demonic from that angle. He does, of course, have standard articulation in that he's got the ab crunch, the waist rotation, the ball jointed shoulders, the bicep swivel. He does have a single jointed elbow and swivels at the wrist. Of course, we've got the Y-jointed hips here, so we've got a great back and forth and outwards. We do have a thigh cut. We've got a single bend at the knee. One thing about these Collect and Connects is they can come apart really easily, which is why once I generally get them together, they go in the display case. And that is that. A very simple bend there at the knee, and then again back and forth just at the ankle. So very, very simple and very standard Mattel articulation. You know, I knew that this was a little bit smaller than the other figures. I knew that it was going to be a 10-inch size, but that size comparison didn't really hit me and how different that is. Until he's sitting here with the other two. It's almost, you know, like mom and dad at the park. And which one hit you, Junior? You know. But very, very cool figure to have. Awesome to have in my collection. Even with having the kind of stinker figures I had to pick up, I could have, I suppose, waited and tried to get the pieces on eBay later. But I really, really, really wanted to have this Doomsday complete, and to be frank, these are the last collection pickups I'm really going to be able to do. These were all I had a special account, and I basically filled it with gift cards, and that's how I pay for things. But that is now empty, and I used the last of my Amazon points, so I am pretty much out of collecting until some things turn around, which will hopefully be soon, because there's some great things coming out that I would really, really love to have, and it's going to be killer having to see everybody else have this cool stuff and not having it myself. But that is it for me here today. This is, of course, Rez the Collector. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that seeing this entire line as one full video was not overwhelming. I realize it was very long. We're looking at over half an hour here. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, rate and comment. I do try to get back to people. I can't always do that. Life does, of course, get in the way. But I hope to hear from you. So again, have a wonderful evening. Rate, comment, and subscribe, and good night.